Okay, we are live, Christian. All right, well, welcome to the Adventure Media Podcast. I am Trent McGee.
I'm Christian Hazel.
And this is going to be a pretty cool episode. We, of course, are the masterminds behind Unreal Adventure. I'm sure if you were watching this, you guys are probably pretty familiar with the event already, so I'm going to spare all the dirty little details. But in this episode, or this podcast, we are actually going to be revealing the Dirty Dozen. What is the Dirty Dozen?
Well, we take all of the applicants we got who applied to be part of this event on unreal-adventure.com, and we narrow all of those down to about 12. And so in no particular order, we are going to just kind of open up some of the images that they shared with us and go through our thoughts, maybe share some highlights.
Yeah.
And just kind of let you in on the process.
Yeah. So we actually got an impressive number of applications, even for the almost
in a
zero,
relatively short window.
A very short window, and not a whole lot of promotion. We basically just put out some calls on social media and stuff. He and I, we've both been pretty busy handling the mountain of logistics that go into this thing.
And starting new company
and all that stuff. So we'll spare you the details on that. So we had about 60 applicants, maybe a little bit more than that. And so Christian and I sat down a couple days ago, whittled it down to the dozen. And then what happens once
now that we have it narrowed down to a dirty dozen, the next step is I pick up the phone and I will call all 12 and do just kind of a phone interview, have a chat, real casual, and then I'll reconvene with Trent, and then we'll deliberate a little more, and then we'll make our final selections. Really not sure how many will get to come, but it is as many as we can. We will invite as many as possible. We do try to maintain a threshold of ideally no more than 25 vehicles. Mm-hmm. So we'll see.
So it'll depend on a couple of different factors. If we get a couple more sponsors on board and things like that, but it will be somewhere between 2 and 6. We'd like to invite as many as possible.
Yeah.
But we also have to keep the group manageable for a variety of different reasons that aren't worth getting into. So that's it. That's the Dirty Dozen. So let's jump into it. I will,
as we said, in no particular
order. And guys, we are wet behind the ears newbies with this stuff. Please bear with us if we have some technical
there's going to be some bumps in this trail.
I guarantee you this is the first time we have been doing this particular thing. So let me pull.
Not the least of which, if we mispronounce a name or 2 or 4, it is not intentional and we apologize.
So this first one is a good example. Andrew Lamer.
Or Lemaire.
But
Andrew has a there it is, 1968 Ford Bronco, and I really like how low slung the thing is. It looks nice and wide, stable. Some good engineering and fabrication. We got a 3-link in the front, a 3-link in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Cummins 4BT engine. Trent and I both have diesel powered trail rigs, so we know they work.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also really nice when you can maybe bypass a fuel pump or two.
Yep.
Along the route. Fuel stops on UA are kind of chaotic, to say the least.
I kind of like that he opted not to do like it's a small block, fuel injected Ford small block or something like that,
which would be great, but I mean,
it's just different, and or heaven forbid an LS. Yeah. I don't think could get behind that on a Bronco.
But that said, there's still there's a lot of KISS factor in this thing. It's a C6 transmission, reliable, dirt simple, an Atlas 3.8 T-case.
Mm-hmm.
Very strong, again, dependable, durable. He's got 16-inch coilovers in the front and 14-inch coilovers in the back.
Is it 4-link front back?
3-link front, 4-link back.
Okay.
And then 17-inch wheels, 42-inch tires. So the thing, and not the least of which, he's actually out there using it. All of his photos. There's no driveway shot. It's not half built in the garage. He's been wheeling 30 years, so I I think that's, yeah. And he's owned it for about 15.
Yeah. I mean,
so he knows that thing in and out. It's probably well dialed. He knows how to drive it.
It looks like it's pretty well sorted out. Like Christian said, I like the low stance of this one. I also really like the lines. It looks like the fabrication is really well done. I dig the front bumper. That's kind of a cool design. Also the lines of the cage. You know, a lot of people kind of miss the aesthetics sometimes when they're building their own cage. But this one I really like the lines of. And it's obviously it's just a well thought out, sorted, you know, looks like it'd be a sorted rig. So
yeah.
I'm
so
into
that's
it.
kind of when we're going through them, those are the elements that, you know, we're looking to be hit upside the head with.
That's right.
He walloped us good.
All right, so let me get back over here. We will do that. All right.
There we go. And we're back.
We're gonna go over here, and then
Trent and I were also having a discussion. You know, historically, going back to the magazine days of this event that, you know, we've been doing for so long, we called them invited readers. So we have to come up with a new term.
Yeah,
it's viewers or
participant seems long to me. So
we'll work on that. If you have any thoughts and you're watching this on YouTube, drop them in the comments.
Yeah. Oh, and then also, it also brings up a really good point. We'd like to know which ones are your favorites. So feel free to comment down below if you're watching this on YouTube. Let us know. You know. And we'd love to know. So all right, let's see. The next one up is Greg Smith. This is that. Very interesting.
Greg Smith hailing out of Texas.
Yeah.
With a Lexus LX450, but it's not.
It is very, very big. There's not a whole lot of LX450 left.
You know, this guy's not afraid of a Sawzall and a welder. And, you know, that speaks to our hearts.
Yeah. But
so we've got, again, 42-inch tires, 1-ton axles, you know, all that stuff we're looking for. A 3-link front, custom double triangulated 4-link rear. 14-inch coilovers. Oops. Trent with the technical difficulties. Yep. He's doing way better than I would. It's got a 6.2 liter LS in it with a 6L80 transmission and an Atlas 3.8 to 1 T-case.
So looks like back here he just completely back half the car.
Yeah, radiators remote mounted in the back.
Yeah, I think the battery's in the back. Looks like he's got a trans cooler back there.
And it's I don't want to say funny, but it's interesting how short the wheelbase is.
Yeah.
Almost, you know, two-door Wrangler in that realm. Certainly not flat fender, but it's Jeep-ish, which we all know.
There's a really good shot of the rear suspension.
Yeah, and the engineering looks really pretty well done. The fabrication's really nice. Yeah. It's clean.
Shaved axles.
Yeah, that's all those elements that, you know, that's the real deal. That dude's that's not a show pony.
Yeah, I mean, I think his biggest challenge is going to be living out of this thing for a week and packing all of his gear. You know, that one's got trying to minimize the ones that
again, it's and he's not afraid to probably stab the throttle in that. Yeah. Those are paddle shifters, those buttons.
Yeah,
for the transmission.
Digital dash recessed into the factory dash.
Working AC.
Yeah, I was gonna say I believe this one has working. Yeah, there's the air conditioning compressor, and I think one of the other photos. Let's see, that's the front. That's the good view. So the other thing that Greg did, and it's worth pointing out, is that he took the time to actually send us some really good pictures
and a good video,
and a very good video too.
Yeah.
So that, you know, guys, that really helps.
These are the angles we're looking for, though. You know, we want to see the fabrication, we want to see the undercarriage, we want to see how things are tied in and engineered and gusseted and whatnot. And maybe he's gonna bring pizza. So
yeah. Well, and what I like,
although it's Domino's,
I think it kind of gives you. It just shows he kind of has a sense of humor.
Yeah.
So.
We do this because it's fun,
right?
And you know, you can't take yourself too seriously.
This was an LS3 or something, wasn't it?
6.2 liter.
6.2.
So it could be an L90E2. It could be
yeah.
It looks like a truck manifold.
Yeah, but obviously by the, you know, and we don't really care too much. I mean, try and stay away from the raisins, but there's clearly by the pristine body panels that are on this thing that, you know, it only gets driven to church on Sundays.
Yeah, he's owned it 6 years, and so all this happened within that relatively short window.
Yeah. So, but very very interesting vehicle. Very interesting vehicle. So, so that's Greg. Let's see.
And again, it doesn't matter where you are in the country, even if you're outside of the U.S. We have had participants ship their vehicles in. So
we have.
So no matter where you are, if you think your vehicle and you know, a potential co-driver have what it takes, and this seems like something you would want to tick off your bucket list. You know, hey, apply. You can't enter.
All right, Christian.
You can't come if you don't apply. That's what I always say.
I think the next one up is James Jenkins.
And this small little compact trail burner. I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah. You wait. You guys are just going to see it here in just a second. There it is.
So we've got a 85 crew cab Chevy 1-ton pickup, and so, you know, Dana 60 14 bolt. I'm assuming that's on me. Normally, I will ask what the axles and the ratios and the lockers are, but I forgot to build that into the application sheet, so I'll be changing that. But I'm assuming they're 1-tons. They came stock with them. So.
Yeah, but big old crew cab, square body.
Get her done, square body. It's got an off-road design, 5-link front and a 4-link rear. Coilovers. We've got, you know, big winch on it. It's got a turbo 400 reverse manual valve body transmission with a 203 205 doubler. These trucks came from the factory with a rather underpowered 4-barrel 350, but he took care of that with a LS6 6.2 liter. He's got LS6. No, I'm sorry, I'm reading it wrong. He's got LS 6.2 liter, so it's an L92. Which is a fantastic engine. What are they, like 4.25 horse? Any, really. There's a reason
they're so popular. Yeah. But clearly he uses his car. Clearly he spends quite a bit of time in and around Moab. He must wit.
I love the bodywork on this thing. I love that the sheet metal, although I have no qualms about, you know, a dented rig, I love that it's clean. The front of it's clean. I like the lines on it. I like the tow hooks. You know, we've got great steering linkage that I can see. The 2 doors are fantastic, and I love the bed on it.
Yeah,
absolutely love the bed.
Yeah. And you know, anybody that can wheel something that big and that long has to know what he's doing.
Yeah.
So
40-inch tires. It says on here.
So yeah, and it's not a complete raisin either. So yeah, no, that's. But
again, he's a 6-year relationship with the truck. He's owned it for 6 years.
Right. Okay. All right. So that was James. Let's go next to. Oh, don't do that. Mike. This one.
This is a party wagon.
This one.
Here we go.
This one is when we both saw it. Like first glance, when I first saw this thing.
What I saw first was the vehicle description, and I was like, "Oh, you're kidding me!
This guy has no idea."
And then I opened up the first photo, and my jaw hit the floor.
Yes. This thing is the definition of different. But a good kind of different. All right, guys.
So Mike Day.
Here it is.
And his 2006 BMW X5.
X5. Yep. And there it is.
Look at that piece of vehicular art.
That thing, I mean, I don't know where where would you come up with gosh, a BMW X5? I think it'd be a rad rock crawler.
Look at one and say, you know what I'm going to build?
Yeah.
But not only that, so a BMW X5, I mean, they're pretty quick out the gate. They've got a decent you can't fault them for being a decent vehicle. But yeah, I'm going to take out that pretty good BMW engine for a 408 Cube LS.
Yeah, let's see if we got a photo.
And a 6L80 transmission.
Yeah.
And I'm also going to stab a 203 205 doubler in it.
Yeah, I guess he didn't send pictures of he sent in a very, very, very good walk around.
Yeah, and the video shows the undercarriage.
Unfortunately, I was looking for an engine shop, but apparently
engine shop. I think we've got some chassis and suspension. So we've got 1-ton axles under there, 40-inch tires. Which how do you fit 40s under an X5? It's hard enough to do it on
But I mean, and this is a unibody car.
Yes.
So, but the fabrication on this thing, again, there's a lot more detail in the video walk around, but the fabrication on this thing is incredible. I mean, there's one of the, I think it's one of the rear arms has this crazy, because it's just so tight in there. It's just this crazy, it kind of goes up and over but it's well done. It's reinforced and gusseted and all that.
40 inch. Oh, I said that 40-inch tires. Yeah, I mean, working AC. It's funny in his video. He's like, "Oh, let me pop the hood for you," and he just reaches in and, you know, the
pulls
factory hood latch is still hooked up. Which I don't know why. I was like, I just expected it to be basically a BMW shell draped over some kind of crazy chassis.
Let's put it this way: it would have been a whole lot easier to just throw some hood pins in it, and call it a day. But no, he actually and the interior of this thing looks stockish.
Yes.
I mean, it's
a rad build. Well done.
I think this was a SEMA build, if I'm not mistaken.
He did reference that. I missed it at SEMA.
I did too, but we were talking to Dave Chappelle, and he said he saw it.
Yes, Dave. This was on his radar.
The only thing which will, if Mike gets chosen, that he'll have to do is get rid of some of the decals on there, because unfortunately one of the rules on Ultimate Adventure is that you cannot run decals for non-sponsored decals. It's
but you can cover them. You don't have to
you don't have to remove them, right? So but anyway, I'm sure he'll be okay with that. But
so, you know, it's new, it's shiny, it's clean. I know a lot of people think we are just only into old junk that's rusty and indented, and you know, but yeah, I mean, I appreciate good fabrication
and the amount
vehicles
of work,
of any kind. Yeah,
the amount of work that went into this thing. What remains to be seen though is, like, if he gets chosen, is it still going to look like that by the end of the trip?
Right.
We'll see. We shall see. All right. Well, that was Mike Day. Christian, fill in some time while I try and set up the next
Christian.
one.
Again, you know, go to unreal-adventure.com and apply the links in the on the website. And even if you don't make it in time for 24, we do not discard the applications at the end of the year. So we will roll those over. Mm-hmm. That said, if you have applied and you've made major changes, or you think you know, you have new information to share, or you think you can do a better job on your application, by all means, please apply again. It's fine.
All right. So okay. So next up, Christian, is Nathan Grooms.
Yes.
This thing is pretty cool for a lot of reasons. It's you know, well, here.
But it's actually the second LX450 that made the Dirty Dozen.
Yeah, it says LX450, but that's not an LX450 nose.
It's a Toyota Land Cruiser.
Yeah, so but I mean, they're kind of same.
So who knows?
But this thing, it looks simple, and like I said, we like simple.
Right. We still got the factory inline six, the 4.5 liter 1FC FE engine, which is a great durable dual overhead cam engine. No problems there. Adequate. The factory transmission, factory transfer case with Marlin crawler gears.
So are those
3-to-1 gears?
Okay. Are those 37s or?
They are 40s.
40s. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
40 is the new 37, apparently.
Apparently, you and I are behind the game.
Yes. Yeah. We've got a.
Ooh, there's a good shot of the front suspension.
Yes. We've got a hybrid radius arm 3-link
in the front.
In the front.
Okay.
And then a 4-link in the rear.
Okay.
Tube doors, obviously, and once again, you know, the thing's out in the field getting used.
Right.
Let's see how long he's owned it. He's owned it for 4 years.
Okay. Well, he's
so by the look of it, he's you know,
done a lot to it.
Afraid to get out there in it,
and it's still reasonably straight too.
Yeah.
So at least, I mean, it looks like it's at least a good, you know, 10-footer. So, no, I'm just kidding. And like, again, guys, we don't really care. I mean, like I said, I prefer not to do raisins, but a few dents.
Again, you know, that where we just saw the BMW and some other rigs that were like, you know, gonzo balls to the wall crazy. This is relatively achievable. Granted, you know, I'm sure that exo cage took a lot of work and thought to do.
I was just gonna say, I actually am not a big fan of exo cages
But
personally.
this one does
This
not
one is pretty
intrude
well
on the lines
done.
of the vehicle.
No, it's very, very tight to the vehicle. It does a good job of following the lines. Obviously, Nathan wheels in areas with a lot of trees, because pretty much anybody that wheels with a lot of trees has those rub rails around the roof line.
Yeah.
And stuff. So yeah, no, that's actually really well done.
West Coast wheeler.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, it's, you know, like I said, it's just a nice, clean, obviously well sorted out rig. So yeah. So there you go. All right. Well, that's Nathan. Let's see. Try and get over here. Stop. All right. So now gonna go back over here. Try and bring up the next one. The next one up here is Christian, is Oscar Espinoza.
Oscar has I think one of the newer vehicles that applied.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not super hardcore knowledgeable on these vehicles like I am some others.
Well, they're still pretty new.
Yeah,
and
he has entered his 2021 Ford Bronco.
Yeah.
I think it's, again, a nice clean build. It's on 38-inch tires, which are not small tires by any means, but he is actually the only Dirty Dozen candidate with tires smaller than 40-inch.
Really?
Everyone seems to be moving to that 40-inch. It's the magic bullet.
Well, and guys, it's worth mentioning, the minimum requirement for Unreal Adventure is actually just 35s. Yeah. So you don't feel like you have to have, you know, big old monster 40s or anything like that.
But also you want it to be a proportional build. You know,
sure.
You don't want your tires to limit your brake over, your approach angle, you know, et cetera, et cetera. But if you have a, you know, Amigo or a flat fender or something, and you're on 35s, by all means, bring it.
Sure.
So this thing's really, I mean, it's nicely done. Again, like I said, I'm not super knowledgeable on these particular vehicles. I do know there's, you know, they're aftermarket upgrades for the front shafts and for the rear. That's obviously a long travel, probably
kept the IFS, which a lot of the Bronco guys are doing. So obviously that's that front end is holding up.
Yes. So, long travel HD suspension with king shocks and bypasses, Spicer axles and front drive unit.
Yeah.
So you know, we put some money where it counts. 2.7 liter turbo engine, 10-speed transmission, and then the Ford 3-speed transfer case. I don't think, you know, for me, and it might just be a perception thing and something I've got to overcome myself, but I always worry on these brand new vehicles about the electronics freaking out.
Yeah.
And then not being able to deal with it. But look at that photo right there. I mean, he's taking that thing out and wringing it out. So if there are gremlins, if there are glitches in the, you know, ghosts in the machine, I'm sure he's sorted them out by now.
For sure. Yeah. And I just like it's a newer vehicle. I want to say it's the only new Bronco that applied.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm almost certain. So, you know, and honestly, you know, part of us, like Christian was saying, you know, part of us is intrigued. Neither one of us really know a whole lot about this particular platform. Not because we don't want to. I personally haven't even driven one. You know, and I know you probably have, but
you would probably be one of the most comfortable on the trip.
Yeah, without a doubt, without a doubt. So yeah, just it's a clean car, new car.
And some of his anecdotes, he is a longtime Bronco guy. He used to own a 72.
Oh, okay.
So all this is, you know, he's not I don't want to be disrespectful, but a credit card wheeler. You know, you see a lot of people who just buy a brand new vehicle, throw a bunch of parts at it, throw it on a credit card, and hit the trails. You know, he's got some earned cred.
Sure. So yeah, and we're anxious to see how it does. And you know what? And you're right, Christian, on the brand new vehicles and the electronics and stuff like that. But I know Ford spent an inordinate amount of time in development with this thing. So maybe that's a little bit less of an issue. I mean, you'd think, You could say the same thing about Jeep, but unfortunately, that's not necessarily the case.
Not always.
Not always.
Well, that's the thing with the electrical issues or the computer, freakouts. You just they come when you least want them.
Yeah.
And when you absolutely don't expect it.
Yeah. So, and I think, hopefully, well, he has to have done whatever wizardry that needs to be done to make the computers not freak out with the big tires and all that stuff. Right. So, ooh, this next one's cool.
Yeah, this next one again.
He only sent 4 photos.
There's not many photos on this one, but we like what we see so far.
Yeah, this thing.
Scott Fox.
Yeah, hang on, I'm still getting it shared here.
Scott Fox is his name, this is something Vern Simons and Trent and I joked about doing for UA one year, all of us.
Yes.
Is to build what we affectionately call a TRAR.
Yeah.
Which is a truck car.
Here we go.
But it turns out AMC had beaten all of us to the punch years later in the early 80s with its AMC Eagle, which came from the factory with pretty much a Jeep drivetrain.
Mm-hmm.
You got an AMC Model 20 rear, I think, in those things from the factory. The 4.2 liter inline 6, whatever the transmission was, 727 maybe. I don't know. I'm guessing. Yeah. And then what was the T case in those things? Was it a 231 or was it something different?
No, it was like a 207 or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Early 80s.
They were IFS as well.
Yes, IFS front, but a true 4-wheel drive analog machine. You pulled that lever and that was it. But
anyway, yeah. Well, and did you know that these things, the half shafts in the IFS of this thing were actually cable?
No,
they was not. It was like wound up cable. It was absolutely bizarre. Early 19.
Was that to give it some give and some?
I guess I don't know because I think some of them
coupling in the T case.
Well, I think some of these were or a lot of them I think were all-wheel drive or had at least all-wheel drive capability. But
well, thankfully Scott exercised all that,
yes.
And it looks like there's a nice beefy. I'm gonna guess just going by the hubs, a Ford Super Duty front axle.
Yeah. So unfortunately he didn't send very many photos.
Yeah, but also the while there's nothing wrong with the 4.2 liter, he ditched that in favor of a Chevy 5.3 liter.
Yeah.
A turbo 400 and MP 241C. So basically the drivetrain out of a Chevy pickup mix and match the year as desired.
What I really like about this, it's very difficult when you're building a TRAR and this one isn't really a TRAR because it's not like my definition of a TRAR would be you stick a car body on a truck frame.
Yeah, like
this one, he didn't do that. These were unibody cars from the factory. So
God forbid a Chevelle body on a Blazer frame.
Exactly.
Don't mess up two vehicles.
But yeah, don't mess up 2 cool cars. But so what I like about this one is that he kept it nice and low, which is actually very difficult to do. I can't imagine the amount of surgery that he did.
And those are 40s again.
Yes. And stock, these things I think came with like 26, 27 inch tall tires.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of surgery he had to have been just absolutely amazing.
I didn't look at the photos close enough to see if he's got a cage inside, but a cage is a requirement.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
And it is the cage specs are basically up to the discretion of Trent, myself, and the tech crew, i.e. Sam Gillis and Keith Bailey, most of all. Keith is usually our final arbiter.
I love
that right there.
That is well, I was going to say
the party has arrived.
Yeah, that is the party wagon right there. I mean, that is arriving in style.
We've got the full-size spare kind of cantilevered off on a, I guess if you hucked that thing off a dune or something and came down hard, that might shatter the back glass with a little bit of vibration.
There has to be more triangulation.
It looks like it's on a swing out
carrier.
Obviously, to open the hatch, it would have to be. But yeah, cool. And again, that is a UA requirement, is a full-size spare. At least bring the tire.
Yep. It looks like it's got full hydro. That I hope it's very tricky to get full hydro to actually run down the road. Okay?
Yeah, not impossible though.
No, it's not impossible. But yeah, so unfortunately he only sent a couple photos, but this thing just screams creative. It screams different.
Screams fun.
Screams fun. It looks like it's pretty well sorted out, and
it's compelling. You know, I wanna see that thing on the trail.
Yeah,
I wanna.
I mean, wouldn't you guys? I mean, let us know in the comments. I mean, if you think that thing is a terrible idea, I mean, you're welcome to voice your opinion. Try and keep it respectful, because if you don't like it, it doesn't mean that it's not cool. But anyway, so anyway, yeah, that is
number 7 on our list of 12. I believe.
So all right. So the next one up is
in this year. It was actually pretty hard to whittle these down to 12. We had some really good ones.
Keep talking.
Trent has made a boo-boo.
Yeah, no, I'll get it. So keep talking.
There we go. That one.
Yeah. Unreal Responses.
Images. There we go. All right. We're back.
30 dozen.
Technical difficulties. The mistakes are free, folks.
Yep. All right.
Okay,
so
we got next on the list. Let me find my cheat sheet here. This one is back in the day. I mean, who didn't have one of these, or a buddy who owned one?
Yeah. I wanted one. I couldn't afford one. So
I had one and regretted selling it.
Yeah.
Mine was the Unicorn.
85 SR5.
85 with the not an SR5. Mine was the but Shane Nation. We have a 1986 Toyota 4Runner, still sporting the indestructible 22RE engine.
I'm a huge fan of those motors.
Yes, W56 transmission, and then twin Toyota cases. We have a 2.28 front and a 4.7 rear. So basically, he can travel backwards in time in low range if he needs to. Low, which with the 22RE and 40-inch tires, yes, you absolutely need.
Yeah.
It looks like a Dana front axle.
Might.
And yeah, so we've got 1-ton axles out of, well, it would be a Chevy unless he retubed it, because it's a passenger drop front.
Yeah.
Dodge or Chevy.
Yeah.
So we'll know. Again, my bad for not putting that on the application.
Yeah.
But hey, a little mystery is good. The rear has RCV goodies inside, quote unquote.
Okay.
But anyway, Toyota Leafs on the front. We've got 63-inch Chevy Leafs in the back. Good, simple. I love
proven
springs. So easy. We've got a nice cage there. Body's pretty clean. It's just those are good bread and butter vehicles. Fold the rear seat up, sleep in the back. Reliable for days. That engine's not going to make enough power to, knock on wood, hurt anything.
It's got room in it to comfortably live out of for a week.
The bodies are compact. The bodies are small, so you can snake them a lot of places, especially with full width axles.
Yep.
Just good. A good can't go wrong.
Who doesn't love the 80s 4Runners and pickups? They're extremely popular platforms for off-roading.
I haven't checked prices on them. I wonder if they're skyrocketed like everything else, or if they're still affordable.
Yeah, like I said, I wanted one of these so bad in high school, but I could not, or right after high school, college.
Yeah.
I could not afford a 4Runner.
Back in the day, yeah.
I could not afford a 4Runner, and I ended up with a pickup, but I had for 15 years.
Yep.
So
I had an 85 with the 22RE and the solid front axle. That they made those for half a year.
Yeah. But no, what I like about this one too is it's not too cut up. A lot of the original lines are there
over the years. Or they've been
usually back halved and
fiberglass front sheet metal or who knows what.
Yeah. So I like that this one's pretty straight and
again not a crazy complex build. It's got the good parts where you need it. But it is something relatable and approachable for someone either already in this hobby or who aspires to get into it.
Yep. All right. So who was that? That was Nathan?
Yeah.
No, Shane Nation.
Hey,
Sorry.
Shane.
All right. So next up, okay.
All right.
So I don't think we have not shown a single Jeep yet.
No, but I think we're going to be showing.
We are
a
about to.
We're not averse to Jeeps. That's
No.
one of the things that everyone kind of assumes with this event historically is, you know, you can't enter in a Jeep and make it in a Jeep. And truth be told, we have selected many Jeeps over the years for readers, just last year, I think, too. But your odds are better with fielding something unique and different, just because, you know, a lot of our sponsors and cronies who come year over year usually do field a Jeep.
Well,
so,
and to be honest with you, I mean, to be perfectly candid with you guys, I myself am really a Jeep guy at heart, and I think Christian might be as well.
Oh yeah,
So
definitely.
I mean, he was the editor of JP Magazine for a long time.
I was at JP for 12 years, so I live, eat, breathe, and dream Jeeps.
It's just one of those things. At the end of the day, we want variety.
Yeah,
and
no one wants to see a bunch of similar
just a
vehicles tackle
line of
the
Jeeps,
same obstacle
and stuff like that. So we're always after variety. But that said, we love a Jeep, and I like Stephen Baines. Yeah. This is his. I think this one's technically a YJ, right?
It is a '91 Jeep Wrangler.
So it's got a CJ front clip on it.
Yeah. And those go on without too much muss or fuss. I did it on my 89.
It's not as bolt on as everybody says it is, but it's not. It's pretty easy.
And so he's Stephen's running 40-inch TSL tires. Sorry, 43-inch TSLs. 43 1450. So the big boys.
Big boys.
And to spin those, he's got a Ford 302 out of a 91 Mustang under the hood. Great engine, small, compact.
And I like that it's not a small block Chevy.
Right.
Everybody does that. And there's nothing wrong with it, but just be a little different sometimes.
Ford C6 with a
it certainly didn't work out like I thought it would. That's good.
Yeah, good sense of humor.
Obviously, got to get to. That's very important for
that. That is really important to, you know. We're looking for personality and temperament and you know, all of that out of the driver as much as we are the cool factor and capability out of the vehicle.
Yeah,
so,
you gotta keep a cool head.
Again, we do this because we love it and because it's fun and we enjoy doing it. And we want to do this with like-minded people. We don't want someone who's going to pout and freak out. And
exactly. And it looks
like that's not the majority of people.
No. It seems like, I mean, that's what's somewhat cool about the off-road community is by and large everybody's pretty chill. So looks like Steven likes to party.
Yeah, but back to the drivetrain. So there we've got a good shot of the C6 transmission and 4.3 to 1 Atlas. We have a spring over front suspension,
simple
reversal, and a triangulated 4-link rear. And so that makes a lot of sense because, you know, when you're climbing up stuff, it's you know, most of the torque is going to that rear axle, those rear tires when you're climbing ledges and whatnot. And so that's where you're really fighting the axle wrap. So having that link suspension on the back really does help you in a lot of situations.
Yeah. So it looks like a well sorted out Jeep. But does it say how long he's had it?
Yes. I'm just slow on the draw. Hang on.
No, it's all good. But
12 years. He's owned this thing 12 years, so it's well.
So he's been upgrading and, you know, like I said, you know, addressing gremlins and issues and stuff like that. The only thing I wonder, clearly it's got a plate on it and everything. The only thing I'd wonder about is just how much this thing is driven on the street. You know, one of the things about, and you know, let's face it, most of the trail rigs you see like in Moab or whatever are primarily trail rigs. I mean, they might be street legal, but you know, people aren't.
But are you going to have it out on the highway for 10 hours at 65, 70 miles
Exactly. And the thing about Unreal Adventure that a lot of people don't realize is that on-road days actually wreak just as much havoc as the off-road days, mostly because
usually more. I think we have more carnage on the road days because that's where all the weakness gets shaken out.
Yeah. So I would wonder, you know, I'm sure that's something you'll ask him. But I would just wonder, just based on, you know, the tire choice and stuff like that, whether, you know, just how much time this thing spends running down the highway. But yeah, so that's Steven. Let's see who is.
Only got a couple more.
And we're actually doing pretty good on time. We're not I was thinking we were going to be a little bit.
And I hope
long-winded.
if people are listening to this, we're describing. We should probably be describing these vehicles a little better because we forget that it's not all visual.
It's not. That's true. That's true. Well, I mean, you're doing a pretty good job with the specs and everything.
Well, so the next one is one of those rigs that it's not overlooked, but I'm surprised more people don't build these.
The dimensions are really good on them.
Yes.
They make themselves very conducive to, especially to like Unreal Adventure. There you go, guys.
Right.
So this is Tom Major.
There we go. Yeah. Okay. Yes. And one of our cronies, Skinny Kenny, fielded a Dakota pickup last year. As Trent said, they're great dimensions. The bodies are big enough to fit stuff and carry a bunch of things, but not so big that you're going to be smashing it into every obstacle. Thomas's is a 2002 Dodge Dakota single cab, which, you know, most of those things, extended or quad cab, they didn't actually make all that many of the two doors. But if you're building a trail rig, I mean, heck, it's great. And he kept the full bed too. The bed is not bobbed aft of the rear tires.
Right.
But again, 40-inch, nice meaty 40-inch tires. Turned by the 3.9 liter V6.
That's an interest. I'm kind of surprised that he still has. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that engine.
But keep in mind too that the that truck, the two doors, the base model, and so that would be the one that
wouldn't have had the V8.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say never, but I don't know.
Maybe rare.
Yeah.
But I mean, these trucks did have a 5.2.
Yeah.
Or at least that was an option.
And so he's backed by the AX15 transmission. I really thought that these came with an MB 3500.
I don't know, but I didn't realize it was a manual. That's cool.
Yes, AX15 box transmission, according to Thomas. He must know since he built the thing. Northwest Fab.
Defer to his.
Yes. Northwest Fab EcoBox.
Okay.
Underdrive in front of a Ford NP205. Transfer case.
I missed tire size again in the 40s or
40s. 40-inch tires, gears and lockers TBD because I didn't put it on the sheet. But we've got 4 links front and rear, coilover shocks. I like the angle on those rear shocks.
Yeah.
You know, we've got some good fabrication on this one.
Yeah.
Clean lines. The body's not totally bashed in. You know, he's got the rock rail on the top of the bed. In the back.
Yeah, you don't see that very often.
No. And so that's going to keep that rear from getting stowed in on trees and whatnot.
Yes. I was looking at the rear bumper and the wraparound.
Yeah. And I like he's laid the spare tire. He's got the full size spare in the bed, but it's kind of laid down at an angle. So it's not taking up a huge ton of bed floor, but it's also not standing straight up impeding your view.
Right.
So it's just some smart, well thought out engineering that's gone into this thing.
And who doesn't love some Walker beadlocks?
Right, they are a good looking beadlock.
Of course, I'm a little biased.
And he's got photos of the thing out in the trail and the rocks being used.
And again, the just clean lines. I like the angle of the roll bar in the back. You know, I like the tube work on the front bumper.
Silver paint job does not hurt for video either, or photography.
You know, the one thing, he does have a cage in it. I was going to say, because I see the roll bar on the bed, but I see the down bars on the front windshield.
That is yet kind of a questionable, or it's a question that comes up is, okay, I've got to pick up and I have a 4-point bed bar. It goes to the frame on the B pillar. And it comes down, you know, past after the rear tires. Is that going to pass tech? And the answer is it really depends.
Yeah.
If it's a super light build, possibly,
maybe.
But ideally, we would really like to see something on that A pillar to keep the cab from getting completely crushed. Doesn't have to go to the frame if you have good big, floor plates that aren't going to punch through. Really, we're just looking for common sense safety. This is not a sanctioned motorsport event, but we really do want to ensure that if the worst happens, we don't have injuries.
Yeah, and you know, originally when the event first started, it was you had to have a full cage if it was an open top vehicle, a roll bar if it was enclosed, and we've kind of amended that, just because, to be quite honest with you, with the advancements in the technology and build technology and all that stuff, we're doing a lot harder trails these days than we were, 25 years ago. And so I really, I personally, I'd like to see a cage and everything.
Yeah. And also the weight of the vehicles, although overall, sometimes they're keeping in check, but you've got 1-ton axles are the norm now.
Yeah.
And so you've got a lot more weight in other places.
For sure. So
but there you go, V6 Dakota. That looks like a fun one, man.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind owning something like that or building something.
For sure. Oh, wait a minute. I'm gonna do this.
That's one rig I've never owned, is a Dakota.
I am neither, actually.
All right, and again, maybe a. Whoa, is that the?
It's this one is.
Whoops.
Todd DeBolt.
Yeah. Okay.
Hopefully we didn't screw this up.
I think we did a little bit.
Why?
No, just the order. It's okay.
Oh, okay. Got it. Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know what I think?
Well,
I think we've got some generational images on this. So I think some of the images that were supplied were not of the vehicle in its final form. And so I meant to weed some of those out. So I think we're going to go on a journey of this vehicle.
Well, and there's not
and
too many
Todd
photos.
has owned it for 12 years. So it's understandable that as Todd's needs and skill set have evolved, so has the Jeep.
You're right.
But we have an 88 Jeep Wrangler. YJ, who doesn't love a good YJ?
Yep.
And this one is sporting 4-link.
Hey, that's probably a more modern.
There we go.
photo.
Yeah, that's where we're at now.
That's okay. That's okay.
Hence my confusion
there you
a couple minutes ago.
Okay.
But we've got 4-link in the front, which and a 4-link in the back, which YJ on leaf springs is nothing to poo-poo, but it's hard to argue the comfort and the
utility of a 4-link.
Yeah. Not to mention the approach angle.
Sure.
It's a bummer running into those shackles when
Sure.
you're coming into an obstacle.
Sure. So this is probably the current. Current.
And over the years, the engine has made way for a Chevy 5.3 liter with a dirt simple turbo 400 behind it and an MP241C following that up. Oh wait, no, sorry, I'm on the wrong line. I thought that sounded way too familiar. We've got a 5.3 liter, we do, but it's a 4L60 and a 241C, not the turbo 400.
Gotcha.
So it probably just a drivetrain yanked right out of maybe an early 2000 Chevy. Yep. I'm guessing.
Yep.
42-inch tires on 1-ton axles. We've got a Dana 60 with an E-locker in the front and a 14-bolt in the rear. 11,000-pound winch, 17-inch beadlocks. All the good stuff that we're usually looking for.
Yeah, he didn't provide too many photos, but he was pretty good with filling out the application. And
he's got a walk around video too.
He does. Okay. But it's just a clean YJ. Love the fact that he's had it for a really long time and it's gone through several iterations to make it better.
Yes. And so those
keep
modifications that were made because he found a need.
Yeah.
To make those.
Yep. So, but other than that, it's fairly basic YJ, which there's nothing wrong with.
Nope.
So, all right. So let's see. All right. So now next up, we're getting close to the end here, guys.
I think 2 more.
I believe so. No, it's actually we're down to 1 more.
All right.
So
last one we have,
and let's see. Let's try and pick up.
So we went from a teeny little Jeep,
but
to
this
an
guy,
even smaller vehicle. No, I'm a little too sarcastic for myself.
I have lost the. There it is. Okay,
this rig incorporates a lot of the cool stuff that you can sometimes find in a factory application. One of our friends and respected colleagues, Stephen Watson, from Off-Road Design, is always, I don't understand why more people don't build, and he will, say something very intuitive about a rig that a lot of people don't build. For me, I don't know why more people aren't building these 1990s Ford F350s. Trask Wyman has a 1990 Ford F350, factory Ford 460. So, you know, you got a big block. This one's got a 5-speed ZF manual transmission. And then MP203, yes,
I did not realize that. Okay.
And then an MP203, 205 TKs.
Nice.
You know, they come factory with a 110 Dyna 60, super desirable front axle.
Oh yeah. Matter of fact, they get robbed a lot and put under Jeeps.
Right. Leaf springs front and rear.
Okay.
Really, you could take one of these trucks, and this one's a standard cab. I'm assuming long bed. I need to see the profile photo, but I think it's long bed. And you know,
yeah, it looks
if you had a set of 40-inch tires and a Sawzall, you could make a factory and a welder to weld up the the Spider. You could make one of these trucks into an instant off-road.
Oh yeah, well think about it. You 4-inch lift, big Sawzall, throw gears and lockers in the axles, and you throw some 40s, and you're ready to party.
Maybe some armor if you care about it. The body staying in one shape, but
right. It looks like he's added some rock sliders.
Yeah, in this photo, he's got a good front 3/4 profile shot. We've got the big tires. It's low down. I like how low it sits. He's got the full rocker armor. It looks just like a dirt simple, probably rectangular steel tubing or maybe square tube.
Right.
I'm assuming tied straight to the frame. He's moved the exhaust up, so it exits through the body of the bed right in front of the rear tire, which is a good way to keep your exhaust intact. The only bummer there is sometimes it'll kind of cook that rear tire a little bit.
Yeah, well, and
no biggie.
For me, I think he's in Montana. Is that right?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's in Montana. To me, the front bumper is not my favorite, but if you guys have spent any time driving around in Montana, the elk and deer and all that stuff are everywhere. So I'm sure that's very, very much functional.
Then a la Dave Chappelle, he's got in that photo we just left. He's also got the a bed rack.
Oh yeah,
above the so you're keeping your bed cargo with the rooftop tent on it. So good functional, comfortable. I've never actually had a rooftop tent on a trail vehicle, and when it's the end of the day on UA and you just want to like crawl into bed, the idea of like pitching a tent or laying out your cot or something, man, it would be nice to just be able to crawl into.
So I think he had a story. He told us about this break. I think he actually the knuckle split.
He had a photo of a trail repair.
Yeah, and that's a rough day when you actually have a knuckle completely come apart, because that's not something normally
he was. We've been here where he broke. So he sent some photos of this knuckle break, and the thing is completely shattered on McKelvey Lake Trail, right in Montana, where we visited in 2020.
I think it was 2020.
Yeah. So he winched his way out, and just about when he's done winching out, the whole wheel fell off with the knuckle attached to it. So
that's a pretty much get a ride back to town and come back.
Yeah, you don't parts there.
Yeah,
unless you've got a Durham.
Right.
Not everyone carries one of those.
And a lot of
rod.
But yeah, it's simple truck, big truck.
He's owned it for 12 years. He's definitely worked out all the bugs, found all the weak points.
And it's not super cut up. So, stock drivetrain, so it's got to be reliable.
Yep. Reliable and relatable.
Yep, exactly. So, and he clearly uses it, because I think every single photo that he sent, it's off-road, and a lot of snow shots too, which there's plenty of snow in Montana.
That's true.
So yeah.
Usually in June.
That's right. So, okay, guys. Well, I believe that's it. Here, I'll get.
Thanks for coming on the journey with us. So we're going to take these 12. Like I said, I'm going to be making some phone calls, talking to the owners.
Yeah, and like I said, well, then this is going to happen soon. But like I said, if you're happen to be watching this on YouTube, go ahead and comment down below who your favorite is, and we'll can't say we're going to take it into account, but it's always interesting.
Yeah,
It's always interesting to hear what people's feedback is, and as always, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help us out a lot. We're just getting this channel off the ground, and use all the help that we can get.
That's true.
So, all right, guys. Well, that is enough. I think you've probably heard enough out of us.
Yep.
So we're going to get out of here, but. What's coming up next? I think we've got some good videos coming up.
Yeah, right? We've got launching on the Unreal Adventure YouTube channel. We've got a couple videos. One just kind of introducing us and what we do and what this whole thing's about. And then we're going to go take a walkthrough in the second video of the 56 International S120. I think in the last podcast I called it a 57. It's a 56.
Gotcha.
When you own this many vehicles, it's hard to keep them straight.
It's all right. Yeah.
So we're gonna take a walk around that rig and at Woods Off Road with Johnny Wood, who is the Fisher fabricator who built that truck. And Trent and I are going to use that to lead Unreal Adventure 2024, presented by Skyjacker
Suspensions. That's right. And we'll also throw a quick shout out to Milestar Tires. IH Parts America and Quigley Driveshafts.
Quigley Custom Driveshafts. Pretty much everyone on Unreal is going to be running their shafts.
Yep, exactly. So, all right, we're going to get out of here, but stay tuned. There's a lot more coming. Thanks, guys.
Take care.